questions to ask before purchasing a home. You want to take a look. Obviously, it's a personal decision on whether home ownership is for you or for not. And if you're thinking of purchasing a home right now, you surely need to get the best advice and look at all of your options out there. Friends and family members are going to have their opinions on what they think that you may do. There's going to be different opinions as far as the real estate market and what the real estate market is going to do. I say if you plan on holding on to real estate as a long-term investment, there really isn't a bad time to buy real estate because the market's going to always recover. History will show that. So even if you do buy at the height of the market, you may be getting at the low at the interest rates environment. So you want to look at look at everything and just know if you're going to hold on to it for long term. It should be a good investment for you. But here's a few questions that you want to ask yourself. Why are you purchasing a home? Truly the most important question to answer. And forget about the financing for a minute. Why did you even consider purchasing a home? For most, the reason is nothing to do with finances, but a study in the Joint Central Housing Study at Harvard University reveals that the 4 major reasons people buy a home have nothing to do with money. Home is a different investment than any other investment avenue that we have because it's something that you live in. You're going to raise your family. You're enjoying this property. And so it's a real emotional purchase that you're making and different than other investments that you have. So here's what Harvard's University reveals. The 4 things that people are looking at: a good place to raise children for them and a good place for their education, a place where you and your family feel safe, more space for you and your family, and control of the space. What financial benefits will you and your family derive from owning a home? The answer to that question should be the biggest reason you decide to purchase or not. Also, second, where are your home values headed? Obviously, we want to look at what the future of the appreciation has as the investment side of it. And it's hard to predict what the real estate market is going to do. But again, look at the history of the real estate market and see what the trends are. We're always going to have up and down markets. We're going to have flat markets. But again, over the history and the long term, you'll see the real estate market always appreciates and gets back to a good investment place. Now, here's what the experts are predicting for the latest surveys. Home values will appreciate by 4% in 2015. The accumulated appreciation would be 19.5% by 2018. And even experts making up the most bearish of surveys still are projecting a cumulative appreciation over 11.2 by 2018. Now, next, where the mortgage interest rates are going, this is my arena, and myself and all experts, we've been continuing to say that the interest rates are going up, and we've seen a little bit uncharted area as far as what's happened after the mortgage crisis with the government purchasing mortgage-backed securities and really artificially keeping these rates low. And that's why it's been hard to predict what the interest rates are going to do in the near future, except we've been consistently saying that they're going to go up. Now I think you're going to hear the experts, including myself, say that they're going to go up, and they really are. Quantitative easing has came to an end, and that was the what was stimulating and keeping the interest rates low, even with the stimulation of the market improving. So my best guess is that we're going to see interest rates get up into the 6% by the end of next year, by 2015. I think that's a good estimate to look at. So if we take a look, let's just look at the history of interest rates because they've been low for so long. I think it kind of seems like the norm. It seems like the norm to me, and I've been doing mortgages since May of 1995, but I can't really remember over the last, after the last few years, the rates have been so low and really what it felt like when we were in a different interest rate environment. Now, I do have to say that I wasn't doing mortgages back in the 70s. Interest rates in the 70s average 8.86%. So on a $300,000 loan, that would put your principal and interest payment at $23.85 a month. I wasn't doing mortgages in the 80s either. Thank goodness. Interest rates averaged 12.7% back in the 80s. And so that same $300,000 loan would be a principal and interest of $3,250. Now, in the 90s is when I came in. On an average, the interest rates during the 90s was 8.12%. So that's a principal and interest payment of $22.25. I'm rounding these numbers here. And in 2000s, we've been our average has been 6.29%, $18.55 in principal and interest. Now, year to date for 2014, the average has been 4.33%. Same loan amount, $1,490. So even if they went up to where they were in 2000s at 6.29%, we're looking at $365 a month higher in a payment, borrowing the same amount of money. And you hear me talk a lot about buying power because really that's what it boils down to, especially when you're getting into the market, in the market that we're seeing right now with the properties having a lot of appreciation. It's starting to get a little bit tight out there to keep your payment where it's reasonable and buy the property that you want to. It's $50,000 in buying power if you're doing a low 3.5% down payment. That's what that difference in monthly payment means in buying power from today's interest rates if we get up into the low 6%. Now, if you're doing a 20% down payment, that's buying power a difference of $70,000 in buying power. So just something to think about. Again, it's a huge purchase if you're looking at getting into the real estate market. Especially for those of you that are first-time home buyers. I've talked a little bit differently with rent versus owning, some different things that you want to look at and consider before being a homeowner versus a renter. I've got a lot of great resources on my website. Again, go to themoneyhour.com, pick up the phone, give the show a call at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150. You'd like to talk with me directly to run any numbers, but thought I'd put a little bit of tease out there during Money Chat for these interest rates because they are not going to stay forever. Coming up next on the Money Hour, as you approach the day you begin in your next phase of life, you face a series of decisions that could spell the difference between a comfortable retirement and one with financial stress. Janice Hammond in studio a lot with me. Just happy to have her back. She'll be here after our commercial break. Sunrise Financial Services right here in 1150 AM KKNW.